Good morning, it's today again. Welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph and I store 20% of my income in the form of rare coins and precious metals. A lot of people recently have been trending towards fractional gold. It's smaller, it's easier to buy, and it's more flexible. So naturally, people will start with 1/10 ounce coins, maybe if they can afford it, a quarter ounce. Immediately, you'll recognize that these coins come with a heavy premium, 10%, 15%, or even 30% over spot. And I'm here to tell you that there is another option. Some fractional coins are trading around 2 to 4% premium. It's still gold and it's still fractional, but it's a completely different cost structure. And once you see this breakdown, it'll change everything you think about stacking fractional gold. Congratulations to Northern Lumens for being the first to comment on yesterday's video. Thank you so much for the support. Y'all go find him down below to start a conversation. Today we're going to be diving into fractional gold, specifically the 1/10 ounce gold and the quarter ounce gold. These are some of the most common entry points into gold stacking. But instead of just talking about what they are, I want to go deeper. Why people are stacking these, where they make sense, where they don't, and what I think is one of the most overlooked alternatives in the entire gold market. First, let's make it very, very simple. We'll start at the beginning. What is fractional gold? Fractional gold is just anything less than 1 ounce. In reality, the market revolves around the 1/10 ounce coin and a quarter ounce coin. These are the most liquid, the most recognizable, and the most widely available. You'll most commonly see the American Gold Eagles, the Canadian Gold Maples, sometimes some gold Krugerrands or some gold Libertads, and even, like this one, the gold Britannia. These coins dominate the fractional gold space, and the reason is simple. They lower the barrier to entry. Not everyone can afford a full ounce of gold all at once, but a 10th ounce and maybe even a quarter ounce, that becomes very realistic. It allows people to start small, stay consistent, and build over time, and that's where most stackers begin. So let's go a little bit beyond the obvious and talk about why people actually stack fractional gold. First off, there's consistency over time. Most people aren't making one big purchase, they're stacking over time, and fractional gold allows you to dollar cost average, stay consistent, and avoid trying to time the market. In the long run, consistency will always beat trying to time the market perfectly. The second is liquidity and flexibility, and this is one of the biggest advantages of these types of coins. If you ever need to sell gold, fractional gold gives you that control. Instead of selling the full ounce, you could sell just 1/10 or a quarter or maybe even a couple of these coins. You can scale your liquidation, and that's a very practical, real-world advantage. And now, of course, we're not going to have all those benefits without some trade-offs. The thing is that fractional gold comes at a cost, higher premiums. The smaller the coin, it's typical the more you're going to pay per ounce. And why? Because you're paying for minting smaller units, distribution cost, and the convenience factor of a smaller coin. So while 1 ounce coin might have a lower premium, a 1/10 ounce coin will have a significant higher premium per ounce. And that will add up over time. And as you can see here, I pulled up some real data of some coins that are on sale right now. I'm not going to share the online bullion dealer because I'm not sponsored and I don't want to be shouting out any names. But I did get all of these prices from the same dealer so that you can see and compare how these are typically priced. As you can see, 1/10 ounce coins typically range from 10 to 20% with some outliers, and 1/4 ounce coins typically range from 8 to 12% also with some outliers. And don't get me wrong, I clearly have a bunch of 1/10 ounce coins here as well as some quarter ounce, so I'm clearly not against paying a little bit of higher premium when it makes sense. To compare all of this, a 1 ounce generic silver on the same website is selling for about a 14% premium. So that does put it into perspective quite a bit. It's just when we're talking about such a higher dollar coin, it seems like 1% difference makes a very large difference because, well, it does. So I know you're already asking yourself, well, what's this alternative you spoke about earlier? Is it just saving up for an ounce? And that is an option. Usually 1 ounce coins will be selling for anywhere between 3 to 5% premium. But depending on how quickly you can come up with enough money for 1 ounce of gold, it might actually save you money in the long run to regularly buy smaller amounts. So what I'm actually going to be showcasing here is old circulated gold, sometimes called pre-33 when we're talking about American, or sometimes called European gold, obviously for the ones from Europe. There's also a Mexican gold that we're going to be showing here as well. So old circulated gold, this is a quarter eagle and a half eagle, both a Indian head design and both on sale at the same website for significantly less premium. And you'll see that the half eagle is a little bit of a higher premium. Some of these are more collectible than others, so you'll find that even in specific designs or specific sizes, some might have a higher premium. For example, you could even put together an entire typeset and include the Liberty head design like this quarter eagle that I have in this date run capsule. Something that is incredibly important to notice here is that the quarter eagle is more gold than a 1/10 of an ounce, and the half eagle is less gold than the quarter ounce. So make sure you're very familiar with the amount of gold in each of these coins, and that's exactly why these are discounted, because they're not a quick, easy, clean troy ounce figure. And there's a little bit of math that is involved, which is exactly why speaking in percentages is the most effective way to talk about these premiums. Here I have some British sovereigns, and these are extremely interesting because they're still made today. They date all the way back to 1817, and as you can see from the new addition to the chart, these can be extremely low premium. Just like the American Pre-33, these can be collected and you can even pick up each design if it's possible for you. Next up, we have the 20 franc coins. So these are actually part of a union of a few different countries. France, Switzerland, Belgium, and Italy all came together to make the same denomination of coins. So there are a lot of these available. They're a really awesome size because they're right in between that 1/10 ounce and a quarter ounce. These are just shy of a fifth of an ounce, containing 0.1867 ounces, and while that seems totally different than everything we've been talking about, these are actually the only ones that can come out to a clean troy ounce number. If you were to put together 750 francs, that would be exactly 7 ounces of gold. That would be quite an impressive goal, as well as a really good opportunity to collect all the different designs from all the different countries that made these coins. In addition, the franc system also came in a 10 franc and even a 100 franc coin, so you're not just limited to the 20 franc size. Last but not least, actually, honestly, some of my favorite coins are Mexican gold coins. Here I have some 2 pesos, some 2.5 pesos, and even a 5 pesos. While some of these do have a little bit of a higher premium, because the gold gets so small, it is a very nice entry point for some new or budget-friendly gold stackers. We also have some other much smaller gold denominations like this $1 gold coin or even this quarter sovereign. These golds do get very small, and sometimes the premium does get up there, but it is possible to find these pretty close to spot as well. So now that we've seen all the numbers laid out, I hope you can see that there are many different possibilities when looking at fractional gold. Of course, most people do default to the American Eagles, the Canadian Maples, and the modern bullion just because it's a lot more simple. But for me, this changed how I think about stacking. I do like the modern coins, and I understand why I would be paying more for them, but when it's more gold for the same money, it becomes a lot more efficient. So make sure that you take a look at the Pre-33, the European, and the Mexican gold next time you go to your local coin shop. I just made my own line of coffee. Joseph's Reserves It's Today Again coffee. Most mornings aren't dramatic. They're quiet. You wake up, pour yourself a cup, and now you have a choice. Drift through the day or take hold of what's in front of you. That's really what this whole thing's about. Showing up, building good habits, staying disciplined in the small things. Whether that's stacking consistently, learning something new, or just being faithful with what you've been given. I put these words on every bag to remind myself first. Every morning is a gift. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. So take a breath, take a sip, and let's get to work. It's today again. You can now write me at Joseph's Reserves, 10160 Highway 242, Suite 800, number 401 in Conroe, Texas, zip code 77385. Make sure to include your information so I can write you back. If you like this video, go down and hit the like button. Go into the comment section to start a conversation or continue one. Share the video with anyone you think may like it, and subscribe if you haven't already. But most of all, thank you so much for watching. And just remember, every ounce adds up, so no matter how small, just keep stacking.